This is Angel Dreams, and we are going to Iheart let the tycoon here because there's a new item you could get, and I'll have to turn that off. No copyright issues here. So today we are going that one area. I forgot what it's called. The middle park. I think it's a park. I think that's what it's called. It's like for me also that is annoying just cause honestly I don't care. It's just so sweet to take that. So I'll be somewhere. No, it's somewhere. Aha, right here. This side of the park. I saw the platform, I think. Yep, there it is. We're gonna wanna go up there. Now to the other ones. Oh, I can't wait for Christmas. I already bought my parents some presents. I think we go, yep, this way. There we go. Oh, nice. There we go. Now we're just jumping all these here. Yes, we need to collect this, or else it won't count. And I died. Which is a good thing, like, that this is a checkpoint. Okay, I did not mean to jump off like that. Okay, now I just jumped too far there. What the? Oh, that was kind of sad. Okay, this is a lot faster with this thing. It was like in the middle of the town. Ah, here it is. It's like, I don't know how I disappeared back. It's like, I got squashed. Hold on. It's the tickles. Okay. If that guy stops chatting, maybe he could get on the platform. I'm just saying. Okay. Got on. Good. It's easy and hard at the same time. Oh. That guy jumped on at the same time as me, but fell off. What? I also bought stuff to make videos from different angles. I hope it works. Because it was quite expensive altogether. Although it would be more expensive if it wasn't Black Friday. I bought it on Black Friday. I also have to buy one more gift. Or technically 3 more gifts. For my friends. Oh, whoops. There we go. Whoop. Whoop. Back on here. Whoop! Oh, shoot. What? But the thing was the checkpoint. I'm so confused why it keeps doing that to me now. Was over here somewhere, the middle of the town. So, empty. I guess I can't die, because it's not saving. I don't know if that's a glitch in itself. Goddamn person. Don't jump in front of me like that. Never jump in front of me like that. Always messes me up. Now I fell.
Hey, we made it to Iheartland! On our podcast, Daniel and Jorge Explain the Universe, we like to talk about planets and galaxies, but we never thought we'd get to do it from another world. And here we are in Iheartland. How cool is that?
So cool. Now, on our podcast, Jorge and I typically talk about some of the biggest, most amazing unanswered questions in the universe. And today, we have some really fun stories about the biggest collisions in the universe.
I liked the whole
Planets colliding with other
I
planets,
got the
stars
ones
colliding with other
from it.
stars, even galaxies hitting other galaxies.
But before we get into it, we just want to give a quick thanks to our partner, State Farm and Intel, and of course,
They
Roblox
should
for
have
having
that
us here.
back next
Hi, I'm Jorge.
year.
I'm a cartoonist and the creator of PhD Comics.
Hi, I'm Daniel. I'm a particle physicist and a professor at UC Irvine, and I love to smash things
Want
together to figure out
something
what
new.
they're made out of.
Welcome to our podcast, Daniel and Jorge Explain the Universe, a production of iHeartRadio.
in which we try to smash your brain together with the whole universe. We think that there are so many interesting things to understand out there, and we want to bring your brain together with all of those questions and give you some understanding of how things work.
So today we'll be breaking down some of the biggest collisions in the universe. Now that's kind of a tricky word to use, biggest, because especially in physics, that can mean a lot of things. Like it can mean biggest in size, it can mean biggest in speed, or biggest just in terms of the impact it may have on our planet.
Or biggest in drama, right?
Oh, I see. We're going for drama. So, what would you say are some of the biggest collisions in the universe?
Well, we do some pretty fast collisions here on Earth. We accelerate protons to almost the speed of light and smash them together underground in Switzerland. So you got a proton going at the speed of light this way, proton going at the speed of light this way. That's a pretty dramatic collision. That's pretty big stuff.
That's maybe one of the biggest experiments humans have ever done.
Yeah, absolutely. It's one of the most expensive and one of the biggest experiments. So I'm basically a shill for big collision because it's my day job.
And you said you smash protons together, which are tiny little particles that are part of the atom. So we're all made out of atoms, of course, and the atoms are made out of stuff inside of them, including electrons and protons.
Yeah, so we take hydrogen, which is a proton and an electron. We pull away the electron because we're not interested, and then we just smash the protons, the hydrogen nuclei together. And sometimes just like proton debris comes out, and sometimes weird new stuff comes out.
What do you mean weird new stuff?
Well, one of the amazing things about collisions with particles is that what comes out doesn't just have to be a rearrangement of what went in. You can actually annihilate it and turn it into something new, like a Higgs boson or a photon or a Z boson or something you didn't even know existed.
Now, how do you smash these protons together? Do you have like slingshots? Do you pull back and then two scientists stand in front of each other and then pull back and smash the protons together? How does that work?
Now we take the protons, we push them really hard with electric fields, and then we bend them with magnets so they go around in a circle. And we do that over and over and over again until they're going really, really fast. And we have another beam going the other direction, and then we cross them.
So that's one of the fastest collisions that we know about as scientists in the universe. And it's weird because we actually are making that collision.
But it actually doesn't even compete with what the universe is already doing all the time.
Wait, what? You mean there are things in the universe smashing close to each other faster than twice the speed of light?
Absolutely. The universe is filled with huge particle accelerators that are throwing particles at us that are colliding with the Earth much faster than the particles are moving in the Hadron Collider.
Okay, so that's maybe another type of collision of things smashing together that we can talk about is cosmic rays coming from space.
Exactly. Cosmic rays are a fancy word, but they just mean particles in space zipping towards the Earth and then smashing into the atmosphere like tiny little meteors.
Now, these things normally would be kind of dangerous, right? Like if you're hit by one of even though they're tiny particles, if it's going fast enough and it hits you, it can actually kind of not be good for you.
The atmosphere is like a blanket that protects us. They hit the atmosphere, they bounce against particles in the atmosphere, and they lose a little bit of energy. By the time they get down to the surface, instead of having one particle with a lot of energy, you have like trillions with a little bit of energy. So we see these big showers of particles hit the surface of the Earth.
All right, so but then it's a good thing we have our atmosphere to protect us from these cosmic rays.
Yeah, it's like a shield.
Big, dangerous.
Exactly. And if you're in atmosphere, you go out into space, you really need to think about shielding because there's a lot of crazy stuff out there in space. Maybe you think about space as being empty, but really it's filled with high energy particles whizzing all around. It's quite dangerous.
Asteroids, rocks from space that come flying towards the Earth, they kind of get burned up in our atmosphere because they hit that air and then they create all that friction and then they burn up before they hit the Earth.
Yeah, the atmosphere is like a big buffer, and if the rock isn't too big or going too fast, then it melts in the atmosphere. Sort of the way like spaceships, when they re-enter the atmosphere, they get heated up. The same thing happens to asteroids and meteors that hit the atmosphere.
Hey Daniel, what's the most powerful force causing some of the biggest collisions in the universe?
Well, there's this thing deep in space called the Great Attractor that's pulling everything towards it, and we don't know what it is. And now it's your chance to be the Great Attractor. Climb up onto the platforms to collect all 9 planets for your chance to win rewards.
There we go.
But I said speed and energy are really important, right? right? And sometimes we want to create these collisions. Like the ones we talked about, I know you were doing to study things and also what we observed up there in the sky, but sometimes we want to create these collisions, maybe even to save the planet Earth. Yeah, this is pretty cool. I don't know how many of you know this out there, but NASA, the space agency of the US, has a program called the Planetary Defense System, right? Like that's somebody's job, is to literally like stand there and be ready to save the Earth.
I'm glad somebody's doing it because it's not my job.
You're not worried about, you're not trying to save the Earth on a daily basis. Okay. And so this worked. This happened recently. They sent, what did they send? Like a spaceship, like a little spacecraft, and then they just accelerated it and aimed it towards this asteroid.
Yeah, the spacecraft, it's like the size and weight of a refrigerator. So they basically slammed a fridge against a big rock in space. Which
Not
is
like an
pretty
actual
awesome.
fridge. That would have been pretty cool.
I mean, they
Cool.
stocked it first, you know, it's filled with good drinks and all sorts of stuff like a normal fridge. No, it's like a huge cube of metal, and they just slammed it right into the asteroid to see if they could change its course.
And it did, right? Like they
totally
measured
did.
where it was going before, and they hit it with the fridge spaceship, and then they noticed that the asteroid kind of changed course, right?
Yeah, it really did.
So we're talking about the biggest collisions in the universe, and we talked about the fastest ones that we know about. But you could also maybe think about biggest in terms of like impact, right? Like how it can affect us here on Earth.
Well, the Earth is getting hit by this stuff all the time. We can't deflect all of it. A lot of it gets melted by the atmosphere. But in our history, we have been smacked by
got
some
my dad
pretty
this
big
cool-
asteroids. Like the dinosaurs were not as on point as NASA
thing
is in
he
terms
could
of
use for his
planetary defense.
TikTok
So they got
videos.
smacked by a pretty big rock about 65 million years ago.
blanket
It killed off
hoodie,
like 50%
'cause she
of
always
all the
gets
species
cold.
on Earth, actually,
And then
in
my
about an
friends-
afternoon.
And it changed life on Earth forever, right?
Oh,
Like we're here
one of
because
them were
dinosaurs
doing-
are not.
That's right, it made room for us mammals. So
The
thank you,
giant
alien
Scottish
asteroid
line
tossers, or
thing.
whoever is
So you
responsible
could
for that.
cuddle so
Is that also a
older
theory that
lady.
an asteroid was thrown by
Because we thought it
enemies
would
of
be
the
fun to do
dinosaur
that
species?
for
No, but
each
one of my
other.
favorite theories
So
is
we're
that
gonna do
they
that.
reconstructed the path of this asteroid
And
before it hit
then
the Earth, and they think it made two
My
passes
other two
around
friends are
and came
giving
near
him
the Earth
Roblox
before it actually hit,
tips
which means that dinosaurs
for
could have looked up
Christmas.
into the sky and seen it like 10 years before it hit the Earth. So
Probably by
they
an
had their
early, so
chance, right? They were warned. If they had their science
I
together,
know
they'd
that
still
I
be
have
here.
them.
They'd be doing this podcast instead of us.
If that happened again, do you think we'd be able to survive it, do you think?
It
I mean,
would-
if like it gets past the NASA defense system.
It would be pretty challenging. What actually happens depends a lot on where it hits.
And
If it hits in the
I may have
water,
to
then you're getting
buy
a lot of vapor in the
thing for
atmosphere.
my
If it hits on land, then you're getting
coworker.
smoke, you're getting volcanoes.
know which
None of that is
one.
going to be very easy to survive. In order to like remedy that, you need
For
planet-wide
Christmas.
geoengineering projects that I just don't think we're capable of
Christmas.
today.
So start building those
Secret
bunkers.
Santa Christmas
Folks,
thing.
you might want to start investing in that. And baked beans. I hear those last also a long
It
time.
would be one of the
But
hosts.
that's also not the
though,
first time an asteroid hit
'cause the
Earth.
servers are
Yeah, we
gonna
think there's a
get
whole
servers,
history
and
of
then
these
they get
collisions dating back millions and millions of
one of the
years.
hosts
But we also think that very
host.
early in the Earth's formation, there was
'Cause
an enormous
the guy
collision.
would
A
be
whole
better that
planet
way,
hit the
'cause
early Earth.
What?
one.
Yeah. Actually, we do think that there were other
We
planets in the
know
solar
the
system
host
which got
knows
ejected by
more
Jupiter's
than
gravity early
You
on.
know,
Wow,
there's
kicked out.
more than
Kicked out of the
another
island.
Voted off,
Voted
exactly.
off by Jupiter
We're the survivors.
Yes, so far.
But we think that a Mars-sized planet probably hit the
But you're
early
fine with
Earth and
that.
created an enormous collision, basically vaporized the whole surface, and what came out of it turned into the Earth and our moon.
So we're like, our Earth right now is actually Earth 2.0.
Yeah,
Like there wasn't Earth before, that got obliterated, and
Yeah.
then it
I
reformed
just
again.
know
That's the Earth we have now,
I
which
have a plan.
feels like an upgrade, right?
I mean, I think it's pretty good.
if I
I got no
get-
notes, right?
It's about
So then a comet can hit a planet. We saw
her.
it in the 90s. It hit Jupiter,
Yeah.
and it could hit us. And those are actually kind of more dangerous, right?
Those are more dangerous
get
because
the
comets
video
go
of the
really, really
others,
fast because they
I
come from
have
much further
like a
away. So they have
plan
more time to like
except
gather
for
speed as they come
one
towards the
of
sun.
them.
And because they
One
have
of them I
long
don't
orbits,
know
you might
that
not
well.
see them until they're basically headed right
But
towards
only
you.
'cause
Like there could be
they
comets
don't
out there
like
right now
me
that take
enough to
500
talk
years to
to
go
me.
around the sun, and we just haven't seen them yet.
So
Now, I was around in the
somehow
90s when
get
that
her
collision happened. That's
soon.
when the comet smashed into Jupiter. But
Don't
I
know
don't
what
think I
I
was
could
kind of
offer
paying
her.
attention. But you were. You were like.
What?
You were
What
like,
else were you doing, man?
You were watching the live broadcast of it, right?
Just
Kind
so
of.
I was.
hope
I
don't
actually had a telescope focused on Jupiter, and I was taking video myself because I
set up
wanted to
Like at
see
home?
the explosion. Yes, at
Ran
home.
out of it.
Could you see it through the telescope? Like it actually
Yeah.
hit it? Like did it happen fast or in slow motion?
It happened pretty fast, and you
I
can see
wouldn't
these
have
fireballs
money
be
by then,
created.
Dave.
And each fireball is like the size of the Earth. We're talking about incredible collisions here.
Fireball, like it hit Jupiter, but Jupiter is gas, so let's get into that. But when it hit Jupiter, it created
Like
a
it
fireball.
candles or
That
something.
impact was that crazy.
Yeah, there's so
then
much
it's
energy. Jupiter's
something.
basically a huge ball of cotton candy, like you were
'Cause
saying.
there's
But
pretty
you hit it
good
with enough
solar
energy with a big
cables.
enough rock, and the rock gets vaporized in the atmosphere, and you create a huge ball of fire.
As big as the Earth.
As big as the Earth, exactly. So we're sorry, Jupiter, but we're glad it didn't happen to us.
Yeah, that would be bad news. All right, so that's maybe the biggest in the sense of the biggest collisions in the universe. But we said we would talk about the biggest collisions in the universe. So let's go bigger.
Okay.
Like,
let's
can
do
you
it.
smash stars together or suns together?
Now you got the trick of it, right? What would happen if you could smash stars
Yeah.
together, right?
Yeah,
you
we're
wanna
all scientists, right?
Yeah, I'd love to see that. It turns out that's actually quite rare. Our stars in the galaxy are all swirling together around the
So
center of the
lazy
galaxy,
to
sort of like a
vote
big
for.
lazy river. So it's not very typical for
'Cause she
stars to
likes
smash into each
food.
other.
I see.
But sometimes things do smash into each other. It does
Some
happen.
packets
Now, what
of
would happen,
food.
actually happen if two stars collided with each other?
Yeah. It depends entirely on the velocity. If they're
Or
going
like
really
also
fast, then they're going to obliterate each
could
other,
add
just like what
journal
happened with
for her
Proto-Earth and the
to
other
write
planet. Like a
down
huge
Really?
spray of stuff.
what she needs to write.
It's weird to think about because
to
you
get
think
it
you think of the sun as like a ball of fire, right? And so like if you take two flames and you smash them together, nothing really explodes. But the sun is actually kind of pretty meaty, right? Like there's a lot of mass in the sun. I mean,
If she
it's
gets
almost all of the
mad or
mass in
has
the
a
solar
reason
system, and it is stuff. I mean, it's on fire, but it is stuff.
Yeah, it's a huge ball of plasma. It's burning hydrogen. And 99% of the mass of the solar system is in the sun. And so a sun-sun collision could obliterate both of them. It could spray out a lot of this burning stuff. And the temperature would be really incredible, so it'd be super bright. Because what's happening inside the sun is fusion to create all that light, and that pressure and temperature would make the fusion happen at like a supercharged rate, and it would be like much brighter than the sun has ever been.
So amongst the food I
So it
put
would
to the
basically see a giant spark from the collision, and then it would spray out, and then it would turn off, or would this cloud of stuff, debris, keep burning? It would go out, right?
The cloud of debris would probably reform back into either one big star or two smaller stars, but it would take a little while. It would take, a few 100 million years probably to recoalesce into something else that could burn.
All right, let's go bigger, Daniel. What can be bigger than two stars colliding?
Well, instead of just colliding one star, what if you collided like whole groups of stars, right?
A group collision, okay. Are you talking about like colliding galaxies?
Yes, exactly. Let's go really big. So like our galaxy, the Milky Way, has hundreds of billions of stars in it, and the neighboring galaxy, Andromeda, is even bigger. It's much more massive than our galaxy, and it's headed right for us.
Wait, what?
Yes, exactly.
Somebody throw it at us? Is this another conspiracy? Alien conspiracy theory? Like if the light rays didn't work, if the asteroids didn't work, now they're throwing a galaxy at us.
Somebody's just making sure there's a lot of drama in the universe, right?
see.
We've got lots of sequels lined up.
That's right.
For
They
no
want
matter what
season
happens.
2, 3, 4.
But the good news is that the collision will not actually be that dramatic.
Okay, so whole galaxies colliding, that's not that exciting, you're saying, because galaxies are actually kind
I
of
would
empty,
leave
right?
and come back.
I mean, they're big,
They're big.
they're bright,
If I could get
but
a
they're
sign
like
that
kind of like
works.
clouds almost. Like to science, and this is where you go, whoa.
But it's part of a big group of galaxies that all orbit each other. So it's like a big object that's gravitationally bound together. It's a cluster of galaxies.
Cluster of galaxies. That's
Yeah.
like a lot of galaxies that are kind of moved together, kind of, right?
Exactly. Gravity's holding them together. And then the universe is filled with these clusters of galaxies.
Do we
That's
know if our
just
cluster is
faster
heading
than
towards a collision with another cluster? Do we know that? Or is it just inevitable?
It's just inevitable. Eventually, you're going to bump into somebody else. Yeah, just like the Milky Way and Andromeda, the universe is trying to push them apart, but gravity is so strong between them that it's pulling them together so that eventually they will collide.
Can we go bigger, Daniel? What's the biggest thing we can, let's just wrap this up. What's the biggest thing we can collide that we can smash together in the universe?
So galaxy clusters organize themselves into something we call superclusters, which are basically like clusters of clusters. And these are huge, enormous things, like mind-bogglingly big, like 500 million light years across.
500 million, so like a ray of light would take 500 million years just to like go from one side to the other.
This is like a pretty big chunk of the universe.
I want to get
So we call this a
too.
supercluster, and we're part of a supercluster, of course. And so superclusters can smash into each other.
I
right?
love the
And we
weird
actually think that our supercluster is sort of
Roblox
headed towards another supercluster.
items.
Really, we
Yeah.
can track it.
We can track it. There's this thing
Of
out there
like
called the Great
cute
Attractor,
items.
which is a huge source of gravity far out past our galaxy. We don't understand it. We don't really know what's going on, but we notice everything is moving towards it, and other superclusters are moving towards it. So like deep in the future, supercluster collision.
And it's all being pulled together by a mysterious
Because I
force,
pair
right?
it
Like we
with
don't know
some
what
of
it is.
the
We can't
weird
see anything
items
there
or
that's
like cute
pulling these things.
items.
We think it's probably gravity, but we can't see what's causing that gravity. So yeah, we don't understand what the Great Attractor is.
Wow.
And now's your chance to be the Great Attractor. Jump up on the platforms to collect all 9 planets to win your fabulous reward.
This fish could look cute or weird, also depending on what you pair it with. Alpha dying.
Right now, the universe is kind of, like you said, organized in
make it
galaxies
seem
and
a
clusters
little
and
weird.
superclusters, and these are like form kind of like branches out there in the universe. If everything smashes together, does it all become like a giant ball of stuff, or like a giant black hole, or like a giant star? You know, like what's the eventual, you know, event or consequence of 2 of these giant things smashing into each other?
What's the ultimate spoiler of the universe?
Yeah.
Well, you got 2 big forces at play. You have the universe trying to pull itself apart. Dark energy is like accelerating everything further and further apart. Then you have gravity pulling itself together. So the question really is like, how much can gravity pull stuff together before dark energy tears everything
we
apart?
got through
Because the
that.
far futures, we have these like islands of stuff separated by space. And so gravity is like trying to gather as much together as possible before the universe tears it apart. So all this stuff is going to end up in a super black hole eventually.
Insane.
What?
Yes.
So all the stuff that's close to us
Yeah.
will eventually smash together. You're
Yes.
saying like that's inevitable in a way. Will form tiny
Yep.
black holes, and then those black holes will
Yep.
crash into each other. That's
Yep.
another interesting collision. Black
Yes.
hole on black hole.
Yes, exactly. And we've seen that happen already. Black holes hitting each other, swirling around each other, and creating bigger black holes. They make these amazing ripples in space-time. But that's the
This is
future.
tricky.
Everything falls into a black hole, which is then separated from the nearest
That
black hole.
jump it
The
at
universe
the
keeps those apart. But everything
right
in our little
time.
like sort of gravitational well nearby is going to end up
Suck at
inside that black
timing
hole.
things
Oh, cool. Well, like you
sometimes.
said, I think that watching
Depends on
collisions, thinking
what it
about
is.
collisions, imagining collisions, sometimes simulating collisions is a big part of how we understand the universe, right? Because that's kind of how you test things and see what happens. That's how you learn how things actually work.
Yeah, you can see what's inside stuff. You can
Just
see
like
how they
follow
react with
that.
each other. These are great experiments for understanding the basic nature of the universe. So that's why we do them underground on Earth when we can, and we watch them in the sky when they happen for us.
That's how you crack open the secrets of the universe.
Yes,
At a certain
exactly.
point,
You
you
gotta
just
smash
gotta
things
jump.
together.
Yeah, that's when the spoilers all come out, right? So that's when we're paying attention.
I see, from the drama, from
Yes.
the third act drama.
Exactly.
Because I guess you can't just ask the
Oh.
universe how it works. You learn from the drama.
Well, I've been asking, but nobody's answering. So yeah, it's like a mystery, right? You just got to
Aliens
pay
are not
attention to the clues.
ignoring you.
Last one.
It is a big mystery, the universe, and we are slowly learning more and more about it every day, thanks to scientists, and thanks to things smashing into each other.
Thanks everyone for joining us on this episode of Daniel and Jorge
This
Explain the
is
Universe, and keep asking your own questions about what's out there.
Yeah, we hope we smashed through your brain with some new knowledge and blew your mind, or not, or just merged it with
That
a little bit more
disappoints
with
me.
the cosmos
So I have
and
to
the
do
universe.
it again.
Thanks for joining us. See you next time.
I say you died like 6 times. 5 or 6. I think it like stops loading. you back. That's just cruel. Stuff like this could take hours to do at that point. I'd have hours to do things. Work for a living. Loading. Platform. Like, you better spawn me. I jumped at the wrong time. Okay, we could do this. We could do this. Dude, I got like pushed back by that dude. That's what he gets. Okay. So making this video long, I'll make it short. But keep going on the planets. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.